Welcome to episode 110 of the High Volume Hiring Podcast. I am Stephen Rothberg, one of your two co-hosts. I'm also the founder of College Recruiter job search site. And for those who are watching the video version, you'll see that I'm the only one not wearing a Santa hat. And I think that's because I'm the one who has the best head of hair, or at least used to. Something happened along the way. I don't know, age, something like that. I'm joined today by my co-host, Jeanette Leeds. Jeanette,
Hi,
you definitely
everyone.
look much better in a Santa hat than I
I
ever.
know. So Merry Christmas today. Actually, we realized this is going to be airing on Christmas. So Merry Christmas. Hopefully everyone's having a wonderful, lovely day. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching us live, as you know, I'm the CEO of College Recruiter, HR Tech Advisor, and really excited for this special Christmas episode because we have Prem Kumar. For those who don't know him, he is the CEO and founder of Humanly. So welcome on this special episode. Welcome, Prem.
Thanks for having me, and Merry Christmas to everyone. I haven't worn a Santa hat in a little while. I like the feel.
Right? It's like super cozy and warm. So you'll love it. So for our listeners who might not know what Humanly does, and I know there's been lots of like acquisition activity as well, which we were talking about in the green room. Just like give everyone like quick background on Humanly, what you're about, and then we'll get into the meat of today's conversation, which is like does conversational AI help with the candidate experience? So let's first tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. So at Humanly, we're focused on making high volume hiring more efficient. We do that using conversational AI to automate or make more equitable interviews, pre-screens, screening conversations. And then we work really closely with the applicant tracking system. So really, we want to reduce time to hire from what we see at about 44 days to about 5 days.
And Jeanette referenced some acquisitions. To tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So in this space, there's a lot of great players solving different problems, and we do a lot of partnerships. And when partnerships work really well, like in the case of Qualify, who is a phone screening company, as well as Sprockets, a little bit more on the tracking, but also getting into onboarding. We had some great partnerships and decided to consolidate and combine forces, really extending the breadth of our conversational AI, but also having some of the apparatus underneath.
I love that. It's so nice. And also from a customer standpoint, it makes it really easy. It's like everything one-stop shop. So let's go back to I think the stat you said was average 44 days down to 5 days,
Mhm.
5 or 4, 5. I was like, okay, it's Christmas and I am sober. Well, it's not Christmas, but can't remember the data. Let's just talk about how is that happening through candidate experience, tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So with most of our customers right now, so they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on recruitment marketing, so Indeed ads, LinkedIn ads, only to ignore about 95% of the people they've paid in time and money to attract. And that's not that are just simply because they don't have the tools to engage with everyone. So what we're doing is versus providing ways to like filter out, but most of the way the 5% is chosen via applicant tracking systems, even sourcing tools, is really still just matching keywords on two pieces of paper, a LinkedIn profile or a resume to a job description. So we feel by having conversations with every applicant, so that's going through more of a interview with every applicant, as well as not simply taking a job description, but doing intake in a similar way an agency might do. We're now matching much more than the two pieces of paper. So if you apply in the standard ways, you're guaranteed to go straight to more of an interview scenario. And as we get to know more about these candidates, we are identifying silver medalists. We're building a pipeline versus just trying to use keywords to find the best person for that role in front of us. So that's a majority of what happens. And because it's done in an automated way, we can simultaneously do all the interviews. You don't have the 18 days before meeting with a human, which is very prevalent in our industry. And yeah, at the end of the day, it's not in any way about replacing humans, but about getting the right candidate to the right human much faster.
One of the things I heard recently, I think it was a staffing company or a company in the Philippines that ran a test on, they were hiring customer service representatives.
Mhm.
And they basically gave candidates a choice of, you can talk to a human or you can talk to our conversational AI.
Yep.
Overwhelmingly, they chose conversational AI, but not all of them. And what I heard was, the speculation, I think, was that they chose the conversational AI because they knew that they could do it right then, right at that point. 2 in the morning on a
Mhm.
Sunday, whatever it was, maybe rule themselves in, rule themselves out, but immediate and also very objective. It didn't
Mhm.
matter what their first name was, didn't matter what their skin color was, and all the rest of that. What I'm wondering from Humanly's perspective, when you're talking to your employer clients, how focused are they on those others? The ones
Mhm.
that don't feel comfortable or aren't, maybe for disability reasons, aren't able to engage in a chat or like the phone screen. Like what happens in those situations?
Yeah, really good questions, and I'll start with a couple things. One is there is a trust barrier here. A lot of conversational AI doesn't work in the way that there's a lot of marketing campaigns out there, and I think candidates want to use it if it's working, and it's not simply just and if it gets them to some outcome faster. When I was working at Microsoft in support, the most satisfied support submission owners were not people that had their issue resolved. It was the ones that got to someone faster. The faster you got to them, the more informed they were, and they could move on if it isn't a good fit. So, a couple things. First, it's normally not a choice between AI versus human in high volume. It's AI versus being ignored or waiting a
Yeah.
long time.
It's a great point.
Yep.
So I think one piece is making these conversations two way. So you're allowing candidates also to screen the company. They might have questions that are not answered. They might want to know about the pay. From an equity standpoint, we actually just launched last week with Microsoft's neurodiversity hiring program. They're using us for practice interviews, and there's ways you can make things more fair. So we saw over, this is one of the stats that I hate to hear, but it's true. And we had 300,000 Zoom interviews we analyzed, humans doing the interviews, and junior women got 8 minutes less to even speak. So there are some inherent biases, and not every. There are a lot of great teams out there that are doing things in the right way, but we do feel even the speed at which I'm talking right now would be too fast to do in an interview. But you can kind of guarantee a standard flow when you're doing it that way. And I do think that a big part of what we're doing, and it's really important, is giving value back to job candidates. So we started this partly because of my horrible experience as a candidate, refreshing my inbox, hoping to hear back, and then getting an applicant tracking system rejection email.
If you're lucky enough just to even get that.
Exactly. I talked to one candidate that got a rejection email 2 years after they applied. So
We
sometimes
could do a whole episode on that.
yeah, there's
War
things in the
stories.
system. But yeah, so I will say customers do care a lot about the body of candidates that not everyone's comfortable, and we need to know that, and we certainly need to adapt. We've done a lot of A/B testing where you can have a choice. You can be scheduled with a human, or if you want to just start right now, you can get right into the process. So and can we give them value back in the form of suggesting other jobs later? We do have a kind of career coaching module, so that those things are important to us.
That's awesome. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Um, I feel like one topic that's always pretty hot, but has been much more recently is topic of ethical AI, right?
Mhm.
And like how is it being applied? So just curious what your take is on that, because there's a variety of ways to like what does
Yeah,
it even mean? Um, but given so much of what you're doing is based on, the conversational AI and how that's working. And I feel like you've touched on it a bit, but maybe just dive into that a bit more on like what's your take on ethical AI? How are you approaching? And I'm also curious, like what you're hearing from employers out there that some of our listeners could use in the back of their mind.
Yeah, happy to talk about that. And
Yeah.
everything sounds better with a Santa hat on.
I know it does.
Give us the gift of your
I
wisdom and
know.
maybe some
Heavy
candy canes.
topic. I was like,
I
I've
got to
got
start throwing in some metaphors here. I'll leave that to you all. You're the experts on that. Yeah, no, I think so. Customers want to be safe. This is new stuff. Tideo did a study saying while like 90% of folk B2B or enterprise companies want to try AI, only 27% trust it, and that gap between intended adoption and trust is I haven't seen anything that high in B2B software since cloud computing first came out. So you really want to use this thing. You see, you're promised the world, but you just don't really always know how it works. So I think with ethical AI, it's really about keeping customers safe. I think it's about, and in doing so, being transparent. I recommend if you're buying an AI product to almost treat it as if you're hiring an employee. Like, what is what's its skill set? What is it trained on? Is it a culture ad, or is it actually hurting your culture by using AI to interface with candidates? So a lot of the same questions you'd use. Make sure that they're audited by a third party on an AI, from an AI standpoint, not just SOC 2, Type 2, and ISO, but also those are obviously important, but also from an AI standpoint, transparency. So yeah, like I think one thing I'll quickly say is like I feel like being in software, I guess it's been about 20 years now, and there was software you install once, and it's not updated at all until Microsoft announces a new version like a year later. SaaS kind of allowed vendors like us to listen to feedback, iterate more quickly, and generative AI has actually put us on the same side of the table. So customization for software companies was a bad word because it meant you're like building different things for each person. But with generative AI, there's a lot we can do that might have been considered custom, but is very quick and can make the experience very personalized. So I think that like in building ethical AI, you're also letting customers in on the journey with you, showing them how you're scoring candidates, those sort of things.
Cool. Jeanette, I think we have time for one more real quick question. You okay if I grab it?
It's all you. That will be my Christmas gift to you.
Oh, I'd rather have
we have to keep going with this.
I'd rather have the candy cane, but I'll take what I can get. So think of like your salespeople, your team, you're going in and meeting with a potential new customer. You know very little about them. What do you think like the number one reason that a typical customer would have for adopting a conversational AI? Like what's the biggest problem they're trying to solve?
Yeah, really has to do with time savings and giving more time to people to have those higher leverage conversations with the right candidates. Oftentimes we see folks on a phone screen and finding out that even basic like knockout requirements are not met on the candidate side. So that's really it. And then we give them the gift of engaging with the whole world of candidates that apply.
I love
Awesome.
that. You give them the gift of time and the gift of candidates around the world.
Yeah.
So it's perfect. Love it. Well, I think with that, we will call it a day and wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all the other holidays that are being celebrated around the world. And Prem, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate it. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Stuff.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.